Binance Coin is set up to hit $1,308. But if we have larger extensions in our fifth wave, we may be looking at targets as high as 39.37, maybe up to $4,000 plus. Right now, Binance Coin happens to be the fourth largest crypto by market cap, only behind Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. That's something new I learned relatively recently. Why do I have the targets I have? Well, here's our setup, big picture. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. We have a large 1-2 setup here. Top of the wave one was in June of 2019. And the bottom of our wave two was in March of 2020, which coincides with the broader market crash that we experienced across most asset classes. Ever since then, we've had an impulsive rally, which is great. However, there's reason to be a little bit cautious here. So let me explain. Our bigger 1-2 setup projects to a top of anywhere from the $400 or $500 range all the way up to $691. Well, that would be a fifth wave projection. So based on that, we have already topped the fifth wave. In addition, when we look at this subwaves that we have divided up over here, we have a 1-2, and they have a third wave, a fourth wave triangle appears, and then they have a fifth wave top over here. That was again the peak in May of 2021. That is a complete pattern. I like calling this just the third wave alone because it subdivides very nicely into a clean impulsive structure, but there is the risk that this is actually the ultimate top. So it's not totally clear, but right now we are in what I'm calling a fourth wave, and we've started to counter rally. So what are we looking at here as targets? As I mentioned before, assuming that we follow the 3-4 Fibonacci extension that we expect, typically you get to the 0.382, the 0.5, or the 0.618 extensions of your third wave top based from your fourth wave bottom. That's where the $1,308 target comes from. Pretty strong target. There's some confluence there. However, we may see this thing go much higher. 2270 would be the next target up. And ultimately, your 0.618, which is your favorable fifth wave target in a standard impulse wave, puts us at 39.37. So that is a realistic target, provided that we have clean impulsive wave structure behavior. And as with any cryptos or commodities, fifth wave extensions are common, so you may go even higher. But as I always say, one step at a time. If we hit 1308, that's a 3x return. I think that's pretty good. Can't even fathom the returns you might get if we get up to the $3,000, $3,400, $3,900, whatever range we got. What's going on short term, big picture currently? Well, we have had two bottoms here. Our lower low was back June 22nd, and we've had some rallying ever since. So I have two views here. My primary view, drawn in blue here, is showing that we had a 1-2 wave happen, and we've had a third and a fourth and a fifth. We have a completed 5-wave structure. It's not the prettiest thing. There's a lot of up and down, a lot of whipsaw, which is often indicative of a deep pullback, maybe a corrective wave, but I'm going to call this an impulsive wave so far. The alternate view is marked in red, and it's that we already had a 1-2 happen way back here from our June 22nd low all the way to our low on July 20th. And if you use the Fibonacci extension tool from there, it also indicates that we may be pretty close to a top for our wave one. The wave one top projected by that sequence would be 455. So we didn't get too far from there. So far, we have hit 437 as our peak at this time. Now, the difference with the red wave is the red pattern is that we may actually pull back in a fourth wave and then have one final top in the 42 to 509 range, somewhere like that. But again, one pattern at a time. I'm calling my red pattern my backup alt pattern. We're going to stick with the blue pattern for now. So right now, as far as I can tell, our blue pattern is showing a completed wave one impulse, and we are in the midst of a wave two correction. I know we had a sharp correction across the cryptos earlier today. We've bounced and rallied ever since. I'm actually going to zoom in just a bit so we can get a more clear view of this. So we had a Pretty ugly pullback today, and we've recovered since. This looks corrective to me. You could interpret this as a leading diagonal. It's got a little 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to call this corrective. I don't feel confident that this is an impulse. So this may be the A wave. I'm actually thinking it is the A wave. We may have a swing lower. Regardless, we have a pretty bullish setup here. So I'm going to zoom out a bit, look at our longer term targets and all of that stuff. When we look at this, we should have a corrective pullback. So that would indicate something choppy, a 3-wave pullback into this purple box. That's where we'd like to see a wave 2 pullback. We could pull back further than that. You know, anything beyond 50, 61% retrace is fine. That's where this red line is. If we pull back beyond this red line, I would say that's a warning shot fired, that this whole thing may have been a fake out rally. This could be an A, B, C, and we may have a lower low. So nothing to worry about yet, but keep that possibility in mind. If we do hold this corrective wave 2 and we start to rally, our targets are as follows. Typically, your third wave will hit the 1.32 extension, which places it at $623 for Binance Coin. If that holds, if we don't go too deep on our fourth wave, we should hit a 5th wave top close to about $700. So anywhere between $693 and $737. And of course, forgive me for the screen going red. That's my blue light filter. I think the timer just turned off. I'm going to disable this real quick. Get this out of the way. Apologies for that. Okay. So once again, if we hold our corrective wave 2, we should rally up to 623. Ultimately, somewhere between 693 and 736. That would complete a larger wave 1. And once that happens, we'll have a pretty good pullback. Not sure how far back it'll go, but that'll be a very constructive development on our way to our 1308 target, which is a good ways from there. If you're trying to buy, as I always say, if you're doing dollar cost average, keep doing your dollar cost average. Buy a little bit weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you're doing, a little bit at a time. Diversify your timing, your purchases, all that. If you want to buy a lump sum, this wave 2 is a good place to do it, provided that we have that pullback. Even if this is following the alternate pattern, the red pattern of wave 4, it's still probably a good time to buy a lump sum. Again, don't put everything you have into it. Divide that lump sum up. It's a good place to get in if you don't have enough Binance Coin. So we'll see how this develops, and we'll keep an eye on all the other cryptocurrencies. And until then, happy trading. Thank you for watching.